Welcome to the Carousel, where we discuss all kinds of nerd firm.
Are you fucking kidding me, Randy? Who brings a fucking bag of Doritos to a podcast?
It's not Doritos. It's not Doritos. He was taking so long, and then he just went into it. My bad. My bad. Keep going.
Do you have any trombone lessons you want to knock out while we're doing this? Or?
No.
Oh, I got it. I'll go grab
Sorry.
my trump.
Interrupted. Go ahead, John.
So, welcome to the Carousel, where we discuss all kinds of nerd ephemera. That was actually what I was laughing at. What's that? You wanted me to pronounce it so bad you put the fucking...
Oh, I forgot that I did that. So in the notes here, it's capital F, capital M, E-R-U-H, all spaced out.
Ephemera.
Ephemera is a new Star Wars character.
But yeah, video games, movies, and blah, blah, blah. We're terrible people. So,
Yep.
I am John MusiM. With me, I have Randy.
Hello, I'm the fool with the Doritos.
And I have Jake.
So we skipped last episode because we were having technical issues. Those technical issues were completely my issues. We went to, get ready and do our pre-show thing and get everything set up, and John couldn't hear me. So I, reset and I, made sure Skype was updated and all this stuff, and still not working. So I unplugged the mic, unplugged the USB, do the whole, thing you do when you reset your router.
Mm-hmm.
Start it back up. It's not working. 10 minutes before the show, 5 minutes before the show, it's like, oh, fuck. That's right. I have an Xbox. I could just Skype in on that. And then the Xbox headset didn't work. So all this week, all these last 2 weeks, I've been fucking with my setup, trying to get it working. I took my mic to a music store because it's not like I have a whole bunch of XLR stuff laying around. So I took it there. They tested it. My mic's fine. I tried out the cord. I thought, okay, maybe the cord's bad. So I went online and I bought a USB to micro USB, and it gets here, and then it turns out, well, no, micro USB is different from mini USB, so I had to order another one. And it's just fucking going after this thing just night after night after night, trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Because if I got a broken computer, like, that's that. I'm sorry, I don't like you guys that much. Like, I'm not dropping $900,000 to fix this problem.
Yeah.
And so last night, I'm searching online. I'm on YouTube. I'm rolling back Windows updates. I'm downloading new drivers. I'm doing all kind of shit. I'm uninstalling mics. I don't know why I have a Steam streaming mic, but that's gone now. And I'm on my last idea. I don't know what to fucking do. And that's when I remembered that prior to the last show, I went through and burned basically all the privacy settings in Windows to the ground and denied every app use of my mic. So that's what we call a PEBCAC error.
Is the mic plugged in? Yeah.
That's good.
That's the thing.
Stuff.
I kept every single component in the chain is fine. I haven't changed anything. It's all physically in the same spot. What the fuck's going on? And no, but the problem exists between keyboard and chair is the solution there.
Mm-hmm.
So, quick bit of news, or house cleaning, or what you call it. Jake, I'm glad you didn't actually spend money on that, because I completely forgot about that before our discussion started. But
I did spend money. I had to buy 2 cords. Neither of which I needed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, we are going to basically do this episode, and then one more episode, and then we're going to go on break for the summer. It will be an infinite hiatus.
That's different than an indefinite hiatus.
Oh, indefinite hiatus.
The Avengers Indefinite War.
Yeah. The
It'll
infinite hiatus is something else entirely.
Infinite hiatus that part 2 comes out in 2018. Look for it after Captain Marvel.
In 2018.
Yeah, no, we're just taking a break, just recharging our batteries, getting our energy back, and I say it'll mostly be me doing that, and then be back in the fall. So, but that's
I don't think
it.
either one of us has the equipment or wherewithal to fulfill your role.
You
So,
you
as
absolutely
John
do.
goes, so goes the podcast.
You guys absolutely do. Like, you may not appreciate me saying this in public. If you guys want to do the podcast over the summer and I'll just edit and upload it, I would be happy to.
Please, I could totally do it. I took classes at Columbia on editing, so I could totally do this shit.
Oh, okay. Well then,
I'm
cool.
dead serious. I did in between high school and college. I took radio production and like recording studio stuff.
Columbia, like in New York.
There's a Columbia in Chicago. Yeah, after high school, I just decided to jaunt over to New York and take 2 classes over the summer.
I mean, it's just a train ride from Chicago, right? All that
Yeah.
shit's like 5 minutes away.
They got nonstop flights between Chicago and New York all the time.
What
It's a hell of a commute, though.
It is a train
O'Hare
ride.
is such a reliable airport, let me tell you.
It's fine. I would just take the train, and it would just cost 3 times as much and take 6 times as long. That's all.
It's totally worth it. Yeah.
And so, speaking of technology that doesn't work as it's supposed to, we have a new Fallout game that will be announced probably this, Saturday? Is it Sunday?
I think the Bethesda conference is
Probably.
It's Sunday.
Yeah, there wasn't much info. I watched the trailer. There wasn't much to go on. I don't know. It seems pretty Fallout-y. From what I've read, the speculation is that Vault 76 was the first one to open.
That's not
long
speculation.
After. Oh, okay. Well, then there you go, and it's going to be like world building.
The
More of a persistence type.
That seems to be the speculation. I'm trying to type with my left hand here, and it's not working. Yeah, it's Stephen Totillo, I think, over at Kotaku is the guy who is... no, it's Jason Schreier, isn't it? Isn't that who's...
I think they're both at Kotaku.
Oh, they're both at Kotaku, but I forget which one was the guy who was sort of... He had heard a bunch of rumors from, like, reliable sources about what this was going to be. And if he's right, and it sounds like he's very, very sure of what he's saying, he does, like, he's not being iffy or infinite at all on it. He is saying for sure, like, if you want a regular-ass Fallout game, you are going to be disappointed. And it sounds like, from what everyone's saying, that it's basically going to be a Fallout skinned Rust. Online survival, like base building. Fuck all that.
So I don't remember. I read somewhere that someone was claiming that his source was 4chan, and it was a guy on 4chan who periodically posts hoaxes.
You sure that was about this story? Because that sounds familiar, but I think it was about a different story.
I honestly, I think the person telling me that was saying it about this story, but at the same time, people are so dismissive that people in the gaming industry actually have contacts with game studios. So, I would think Stephen Totillo or Jason Schreier would actually have friends and such at Bethesda that they could confirm things with if they wanted to.
I mean, I'm gonna stay, cautiously optimistic is not the phrase. I'm going to stay cautiously neutral on it and not just go in completely ready to hate it. But I think I will probably hate it. And when Sunday rolls around and they say what it is, if it confirms what I'm afraid of, I will just go, all right, I'll sit this one out.
You don't feel like giving them the benefit of the doubt? Because I have yet to be disappointed by any of the Bethesda Fallout properties.
Well, except what it sounds like, and again, this is all total speculation. We've had a 2-minute trailer and then these sort of rumors. But if it is what people are saying it is, they're pushing all the shit that I hated about Fallout 4 and then adding a bunch of stuff from other games that I don't like or want. So,
like the base building and stuff.
The base building, all the survival stuff, griefing. Griefing sounds awesome. If there's an always online component like there is to Rust, and You spend 3 hours building your base, and you show up, and it's just all fucking back in your toolbox or whatever. Or someone else's toolbox. That would be real shitty.
Yeah, it does sound pretty crappy. I don't know. I never played Rust. I know you're all shocked, but like, I don't know. Bethesda's earned the benefit of the doubt, I think.
One thing I'm really curious about is which team in Bethesda is the one doing this. Because I've never been, like, let's be honest, like, Bethesda's released a lot of good games, but as a whole, they've also released a lot of shitty games. Like,
Elder Scrolls 4.
Oh, you shut the hell up. Oblivion is fine. It is just happens to be the worst Elder Scrolls, but it's fine.
Top-notch facial animations on that.
That's all of them. All of them have terrible facial animations.
Didn't everybody look like they'd like got the shit beat out of them because they had all the weird, like, people's skin tone, like they put like yellow and blue, like you know people's skin tone has elements of yellow and blue in it. It's just that you don't notice it because people are either mostly pink or brown. But something about those sliders and the randomness on them, you'd run into people who like their whole face was a bruise. Like, hello, I'm Tony Bruisman.
Bruisman.
Well, for me personally, like, I'm not the biggest, I like Fallout, but I'm not where everyone else is on Fallout. To me, this is just Fallout ESO, you know, like Elder Scrolls Online, a game in a world that I absolutely love, that I kind of hate that it exists because, like, you know, there are areas in Tamriel, the Elder Scrolls world, you know, that have not been revisited since Arena. And now this stupid fucking online game is revisiting and defining those areas instead of a giant, wonderful single-player game.
Well, didn't an expansion just come out for Summer Nuts or something like that?
Oh, yeah, Summer Isle.
Summer Isle.
I will
That's
say,
close.
I think it's Summer Isle.
they might be missing the mark by getting away from single-player experience for Fallout.
I mean, there's undeniable... Oh, I'm sorry. You were going to continue that.
Well, no, I'm thinking of, there were a lot of things wrong with it, but I'm thinking of SimCity 2013, a game that I was super excited about, and then it was hot garbage.
Well, and even the online stuff was so wedged in on that. You could barely interact with the other people, too.
Okay, but that's not what anybody wanted from a SimCity game.
Well, you're saying that most of the articles that I went to that were, like, talking about this speculation in the comments section, everyone seemed pretty fucking jazzed about it. So I don't know any of these people.
Still talking about SimCity.
About the new Fallout 76 and what they're intending to do. Everyone seemed pretty fucking psyched.
Well,
and like, I'm happy for those people.
I'm just saying, like, there's a move to make everything multiplayer and online, and I still think that there's a demand for single-player experiences.
Well, and I don't think this proves that they're not. I mean, I bet they release another single-player Fallout. Like,
I'm sure. I don't know why they're sinking a lot of money into this.
Like, I think Bethesda last year at E3 didn't. Granted, they were making fun of single-player gamers as they were saying they were supporting single-player gamers. But, like, that was kind of the gist of the advertisement. Now, granted, if the gist of the advertisement was, here are all your great single-player games, haha, we're never going to make these again, then that would have a different tone. And it might have been that tone. It was a really weird commercial.
I don't remember
Let me know,
thing we're talking about.
It's
you guys.
the chick who plays Wonder Woman, like sitting in a chair talking to single-player gamers and reassuring them that more single-player games are coming, and they're flashing like Wolfenstein 2 and all this shit. But it's done in like a cheeky manner, so you feel like she's mocking you, even though she's saying you're.
Well,
it's.
So here's my thing, and I'm kind of speculating here, but like, take your top 5 favorite games, right? Think about them, and this could be a product of coming up with a lot of games before everyone was connected, so everything was single player, right? But like, think of your top 5 favorite games, and how many of them were single player?
All of them.
Yeah, right?
Oh, okay, that is your point. Yeah.
It's at least 4 for me. I mean...
Well, but it's I wouldn't... That's kind of painting with a broad brush. I mean, I've been If we get to it, I've been playing Destiny 2. I've been doing a bunch of MMO stuff. I loved World of Warcraft when I was playing it. I love Rocket League, even though it turns me into a complete fucking garbage person monster. Like I like those. I don't think it needs to be in everything. But if they don't try, I mean, look, in a certain sense, you're right. In these other franchises, now granted they're all different studios, but they're all under the Bethesda umbrella, the Bethumbrella. In one sense, you gotta give them enough rope, to sort of hang themselves with, in a sense.
Well, I said earlier that I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, and that's true. But there's a big old boulder of doubt there.
I think it's gonna. I feel like it's not gonna be for me, but
that doesn't mean
we'll
it won't be
just
successful.
have to see what they come out with.
I mean, honestly, there are, like, it's not as black and white as I'm about to state, but there are some gamers who only play multiplayer stuff, who this game is 100% for. This is not for the guys the people who are diehard Fallout single-player people,
Yeah, the people that are getting platinum on Fallout 4.
Like, I'm sure a few of those people...
ban someone out of the chat for spamming a game that's not going to have a single player. Like, those people are out there.
Yeah, I mean, they're just marketing to a different market and doing more with their IP. And it may not be the way we want them to spend their time with that IP, but we don't know what internal studios spent their time doing this. Because I highly doubt it was their single-player studio that turns out the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games. Like, they even said that game is working on a new IP, so I can't imagine that this is considered a new IP. I would hope new IP actually means a completely new franchise, but...
Well, and this... It's where games are have been doing it for years now. It's games as a service. If this had come out a year ago, it would probably have fucking loot boxes in it. Like, it's just that's where games are going.
Don't kid yourself. It may still have loot boxes in it. I mean,
if they're still legal at that point, yeah.
Oh, please, the freaking. Okay, I'm not gonna go into our government. Gonna avoid it. There's no way that becomes
to be made illegal. Everybody needs to stop buying games with loot boxes, and then they'll stop doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that they probably won't. But it doesn't even need to be our government. It could be Europe. It would probably be Europe first. But the point stands. Like, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they say on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what they say, but I'm ready to be disappointed and move on with my life.
That's John's mantra.
You're a real cheerful fuck. You know that, John?
Before he leaves every morning, he looks in the mirror and he says, "John, get ready to be disappointed." And if he gets
just try to make today just a little bit worse than yesterday. You can do that. It's easy.
All right.
Nobody mind me. Nobody ever does.
He's got a tail pinned on.
Quoth the Eeyore. Yeah, you got it.
Doesn't matter. I don't care. All right. So, in a world of disappointment, up next we have Jonathan. That's you.
What? Did mine not update or something? Oh, that says Deadpool 2. I'm sorry. I was looking at the one after that.
World of disappointment. You didn't like it?
No, it was all right.
What
it
Jake
was,
said.
well, here's the thing. Like, and I'm going to kind of... I'm not going to spoil a joke in the Deadpool movie, but in a way I'm going to kind of spoil all of them.
No, that's much better. Carry on. Go ahead.
So, the mechanic of Deadpool 2 is they're going to repeat every single fucking joke from the first movie, but times 1,000. And
that's sequel.
About midway through the movie, I realized that's all I was going to get out of this movie for the most part. And, like, I was disappointed, and then a few minutes later I could enjoy the movie more again. And then kind of the after credits scene happened, and I kind of wish the after credits scene was the entire movie, to be honest with you.
I heard that was very good.
So, like, it's a fun movie. It has some really killer action sequences in it. It has some real fucked up gore shit in it. I think Thanos' Cable is really good. Josh Brolin, that's the guy's name. I think the opening credits sequence joke is terrible. I actually kind of think the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie is outright bad. I think after that it gets to decent, and I think they have a lot of fun parts. They have a lot of fun characters. I wasn't super happy where they went with Colossus necessarily, but I think some of the jokes with him were all right. It's very, very predictable. I wish they hadn't tipped their hand
Sure.
on certain cameos that were happening in the movie, which I won't spoil here, but
Just as a bright spot, do you remember in the first one when Colossus is sitting at the kitchen table eating cereal, all armored up?
yeah,
That was fun.
that was great.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you know, and they
I don't know,
have
like,
him.
What are you wanting from a Deadpool movie? I thought it delivered.
I just wanted something original and new. I didn't want them to try and rehash so much of the first movie.
It's fucking Deadpool 2. Like, I don't know. I mean, you should have gone to see not Deadpool 2 then, I guess.
I wanted more Deadpool. I wanted Cable. I just
Yeah.
didn't like. For me,
There
like
was some
comedy
rehash.
sequels typically don't work because they just repeat a lot of the same jokes, and like the ones that are the best are the ones
They
who
just turn them up, right?
It'd be like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Like all the repeat jokes are within the first like half hour of that movie, and then it's all new material, all new character development. You know, like, and I wanted something like that, something that expanded on the first movie and somehow made the first movie better. Just by this being a sequel to it, you know, like, which is something I think Guardians did. It's something that I think Aliens does really well. Like, I think most of the sequels, at least I consider really good, perform that function. So you could also argue it's my same issue with like John Wick 2. Like, that movie has some fucking killer action scenes, and if that's all you want is some fucking amazing action scenes, it's got it. But like in terms of delivering on a great story like the first one did, it's not going to do that.
Yeah, I was watching that with my HBO, my free HBO, quote unquote free HBO, and boy, that's real tough to watch when we literally have a mass shooting every Friday in this country. Boy, that first one was a lot more fun to watch, just from perspective of like, hey, this dude bought a bunch of guns, and like specifically an AR-15, and is just shooting up a concert, and it's like, yeah, except
Little on the
that
nose.
happened, like, But yeah, I see what you're saying. Did you ever play the Deadpool video game?
Yeah.
No.
So the interaction between Deadpool and Cable, that's what I know them from, and I thought that was him and Death was probably the best piece of that game, but him and Cable was a close second. Is that sort of the relationship they have in this movie, where Cable's real no nonsense and Deadpool is just wacky and pestering, and Cable just shoots him a bunch?
The adjectives you just used to describe it, I agree with. But then when I think of the Deadpool game, I think of Deadpool seeing a large-breasted woman going up and motorboating her, and her turning out to be Cable. So nothing like that ever happens in the movie.
But then Cable just shoots him in the fucking face, and then pins a note to his chest with a knife. Like,
I don't think that happened, but like Cable's really like they're kind of enemies through the first half of the movie. I think a lot of the action sequences with those two are great, since like Deadpool 2 is directed by one of the guys who directed John Wick. So like they tried to think of interesting things to do with everyone's powers, and with Deadpool it was, oh god, I don't want to spoil this. Let's just say because he can just dismember himself and break every bone in his body and still be alive, they do some interesting mechanics with that.
oh yeah, they did that. They did that a little bit in the first one in the game, which I wouldn't recommend anyone play. But if you like find it in the street somewhere, it's worth maybe an afternoon. There's a really funny sequence in the game where you basically get chopped up and put back together wrong, and like his head's on backwards, and so the controls are reversed, and
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah, so they, that seems, when people are doing cool stuff with Deadpool, it is the goofy, gory stuff, in my opinion. So I'm glad that they sort of leaned on that a little bit.
Yeah, this one's more gory than the first one, I think. easily.
And then the first one, in literally like the first 20 seconds, he puts a fucking cigarette lighter in a guy's mouth. Like, that was in the first 20 seconds. It's just like, lit cigarette lighter from a car, goes in your mouth. Hello, this is Deadpool.
Yeah.
They, like, the whole intro to Deadpool 2 is just him going after these, I guess, crime syndicates or something, and they're just these crazy-ass action scenes that have way too much going on in them to absorb much of anything.
With no context, right? He's just beating the shit out of people.
And
I thought it was, I don't know, that's fun.
They look amazing, but at the same time, like, it's so much on screen, like, I couldn't follow anything that was going on in them, so I'll have to rent it sometime and pause and really kind of absorb it. But anyway, so you saw it too, Randy. So you're very positive on it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it did a lot of what you liked from the first one. Like, I don't know, I don't always expect sequels to tread amazing new ground. I mean, that rarely happens, right? That's sort of a phenomenal thing when that does happen. I and especially in comic books, something that is so maybe self-referential and fourth wall breaking. It's what's canon, what's not, what's going to be included in the MCU, what's not. It's tough to tell. They're sort of standalone, and they kind of, as a result of that, I think they're kind of forced to make fun of themselves, or, like I said before, self-reference. But I think that's fine. I think within the context of Deadpool, that's totally fine. So, you're right about a lot of the jokes just being sort of brought in from the old movie and turned up. How did they turn up a pegging scene? Well, I'll go ahead and spoil one. The movie's been out for almost a month now, but like in the first one, he loses a hand, right, and it grows back slow, and the joke is like, "Look at my crazy little hand." And in the second one, he loses like the whole lower half of his body and has to grow it back, and so he's walking around with a whole adult man torso but little baby legs.
All right.
So, there's some humor that they glean from that, but that is, to John's point, that is basically the same joke, and it takes place in the same apartment, and everybody's creeped out for more or less the same reasons. But I don't know,
I'm all right with that. And
Yeah,
I mean, an hour 40 of it might be a bit
no,
much.
it was.
But
It was not an hour and 40 minutes of that. I thought it was. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the big chase action sequence, like in the city with the semi truck and all that, I thought that was really, really great. I don't know. I liked it. It was exactly what I wanted.
Now this is a Fox thing. This is not a Disney thing, right?
Correct.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not really MCU, but Josh Brolin signed a big ol'. Oh well, that's because the X-Men are part of Fox, right? They're not.
Yeah.
MCU.
Maybe
for the
part
time
of
being.
Signed like a 4-picture deal.
maybe part of Comcast soon. But-
Yeah, that stuff's all weird. But yeah, Josh Brolin must have had to know that he was signing on for 2 major roles in the, like, it's weird that, I'm sure they make a joke out of it. He must call him Thanos at some point, right? He has to, come on, you're not spoiling anything. He has to do that, right?
I really don't remember that.
I think he does, actually.
So, like, that's weird that Josh Brolin would do that and be like, yeah, at some point, this might be really confusing, so I'm just going to play both these guys. That's weird.
Josh Brolin wants a paycheck.
Nothing wrong with that. That's why we work.
Like, he's a really good actor, but, I mean, 100%, like, that's why he wants in these movies. He wants a steady
why not?
paycheck, like,
And royalties, buddy.
Sicario was a good movie. He's probably not making the bank he has the potential to make doing these other
I
movies.
did see Indefinite Wars a couple of weeks ago. Holy shit, that was a rad fucking movie, man.
Yeah, it wasn't really good.
I don't know that I would have called Josh Brolin the best piece of it, but yeah, that was real good. I thought they did a really great job of tying everybody together and sort of splitting them off.
It can be really hard to shine when you're rendered in CGI, right? That's a rare gift. Which
Yeah,
is
I
why
guess
Andy
it's-
Serkis is a blessing.
I guess it's your eyebrows and your mouth, and that's really all you have to work with.
Yep. He looked a lot different. Like, I went back and saw some of the clips, like, what was the one where he was revealed at the end credits scene. Was that Guardians?
Oh,
Or the first Avengers or something?
yeah, that was Avengers.
That was before
was not
they even
him.
cast him.
No, that wasn't him, but it looks way different. Like it looks terrible.
I was expecting you to say, like, in the when he was auditioning, in the behind the scenes stuff,
Oh.
they just had him in like a Grimace costume.
When he was on, when he was doing the late night circuit. This doesn't look like Thanos at all.
He's so small. I mean, how did he grow 2 feet?
They do have a short joke on Cable and Deadpool, which I appreciated.
Yeah,
Like-
well, every actor's like 5'10",
Like-
at most.
Deadpool 2 is not just to go back to it for a second, Deadpool 2 is not a bad movie by any means. I guess it's, you know what, John Wick is actually a wonderful comparison, because to me, John Wick and Deadpool were breath of fresh air. I can't talk or think right now. They were fresh. We'll go with that. Since I can't form
Fresh
a
breaths.
goddamn simple sentence. They were fresh, they were inventive, they were new, and I realize it is incredibly unreasonable of me to want the same thing from their sequels, but I did.
Well, it's completely unreasonable, but it's a natural human reaction. I wouldn't expect anything less.
A sequel can't, almost by definition, can't bring a whole lot fresh and new, right? The exception being, I guess, part 2s that aren't really sequels. They're like continuations of a story that's different, like Lord of the Rings and Two Towers or whatever. But or even Alien and Aliens, like that's a continuation.
Well, that's
They made
what
it
you
as a-
want a sequel to be, don't you? Like, why wouldn't you want it to continue the story?
Well, but a lot of stuff, these days they're putting stuff out with the intention to continue the story. But something like Deadpool or I don't know, John Wick, where it's put out and there's no plans for a sequel. Like, let's see how this thing does.
I mean, Ridley Scott didn't have plans for a sequel for Aliens. Like,
And he
he
didn't
didn't
make it.
plan for James
also-
Cameron to come along and do it,
Okay.
you know?
But Aliens
It'd
did.
be really, guys, would it be really great? The Thing 2.
Aliens worked because it was a whole different take.
It's just 2 hours of two guys sitting outside a burning shack, freezing to death.
They did a prequel movie. I mean, did you,
Oh, that's right.
I never
That's
saw
right.
it, but they did it.
It was fine. It was a boring horror movie. It was just a slasher teenage-y horror flick. It
Besides
was
which,
fine.
they already did the sequel. It's a video game.
Is that a sequel?
Hell yeah, it's a sequel.
So like it's a new batch of dudes shows up and that the whole mess starts all over again?
It's been, 1, too long since I played it, and 2, I barely played it. I really just watched my friend who was, like, they were shooting at a thing. I can't remember if they were shooting at a helicopter or if they were in the helicopter shooting down, but it was their character and, why can't I think of that actor's name? Jack Burton from...
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, thank you. It was them and Kurt Russell's character in this helicopter, or shooting at the helicopter for...
This is fucking Resident Evil Antarctica.
Yeah, it is.
Set as a sequel to John Carpenter's 1982 film with the same name, the story focuses on Captain Blake, a member of a U.S. Special Forces team sent to the Antarctic outpost featured in the film to determine what has happened to the research team. The game was endorsed by John Carpenter, who voices a character.
Like,
This
it's...
is a character.
I remember
Also,
the gameplay
came out
being
for
pretty
the-
bad, but
Came out for the Game Boy Color.
also good.
Nice.
I think I own a copy. I think it's an
Wow.
Xbox game.
Wow, I almost want to buy this now.
You could probably find it for like $5 or
Oh!
$10.
And I just read the last line of the plot. As the helicopter flies away from the base, the pilot reveals himself to be R.J. McCready.
Is that Kurt
That's
Russell's
Kurt Russell.
character? Okay.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I like your hot take.
That was my gut reaction. I
Yeah.
feel that in my heart.
So there you go.
Ugh.
They already made the sequel.
I gotta pick that up now, or at least watch a playthrough. That is fucked up. Because they literally blew up the entire base at the end of the movie.
Did they? I thought it was just them sitting and waiting.
They're sitting there among the burning wreckage, looking at each other, waiting to freeze to death.
Oh, yeah.
Passing booze back and forth.
You know, I think in the game you go to the other base too. Like, I think you go to... God, it's been 15 years since I've seen this game, guys. So
Oh,
don't take
man.
anything I am saying at any type of accuracy. But
Okay.
I gotta watch that
Ah.
movie again, man. That's one of the best movies of all time, right there.
I got it on Blu-ray. It was the first thing I watched on my new TV.
Nice.
Oh, ooh. That holds up well.
It's the right type of effects too. You know, they probably didn't do a lot of like film, like you know, where they fucking mark on the film or something, so it doesn't transfer as well over when they go to digital.
Rotoscoping?
I don't know. I don't know shit about this. But I do know that, like, when they transferred, like, Angel and Buffy episodes to, like, high definition stuff, they used a lot of weird editing tricks, like, that were, I guess, normal for the era to make, like, certain scenes look like nighttime, and when it transferred over, those techniques did not translate over, so you have, like, Buffy going to bed, and it's, like, bright daylight out, and...
Yeah, what they do is they turn down all the yellow and they turn up all the blue. I was watching Preacher, season 2 of Preacher earlier last week, and there are some definite, like, they're in the desert at night, but it would be so pitch black in the desert at night they can't film it at night, and it's like you're watching this thing and they're piping crickets into the soundtrack, and they clearly look like someone just like dumped some blue like tint on the film, because that is clearly like there's giant shadows on the ground and stuff, and it's like, guys, you clearly filmed this at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing, yeah, that picked that up. That's worth watching again.
Well, there you go.
And The Thing 2 coming this Halloween. I'm sorry, I guess it'd be The Thing 3 now. What did you see, Randy?
I went and saw Solo.
What did you see by yourself?
Solo, a Star Wars tale.
Oh, that's Solo. I've been wondering who they were talking about in all these ads. Okay.
It's getting some flack, I guess. I don't know why. I thought it was better than either of the main storyline ones that they've come out with.
So did they reveal how he got his name? That's something I've always wanted to know.
They do, actually. But I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
That was sarcasm on my part. I feel like that should have just been his name.
Nope, he is given the surname Solo, and it is for a very literal reason.
Yeah, I've read about it. I've kind of spoiled the movie for myself, but don't spoil it on here, obviously.
No, but it's pretty good. It sets up, it's a backstory movie, so he meets Chewbacca, like you meet Lando and all that. But we know this. It's a criminal syndicate. The thing that I like about it, probably the most, is what I liked about Galaxies. Did any of you play that MMO?
I tried a free trial of it, and I got into it. Like, I did that free trial like after the free-to-play shit kicked in. It was like a year before it died, and I was like, "Ooh, why isn't this Warcraft?"
When it launched, it was actually pretty sweet. It had a unique system, and anyway, we're not talking about Galaxies. The reason I bring Galaxies up is because Jedi were very, very rare. You almost never saw one, and you couldn't even roll it. It was something there was like a huge thing, and maybe there was luck involved, and there were just very few Jedi. You almost never saw any, and that's one of the things I really like Star Wars stories in that context, like outside of the battle for the galaxy, Jedi versus Sith sort of stuff. Like, that's a little bit played out, and that universe is so huge that there's a lot of room for some really great stories that don't involve any of that, and Solo is one of them. Right? That's another reason that I think Rogue One was so good. Ain't no Jedi. Well, there's Vader at the end, but for the most part, none of that's there. It's people without any superpowers, just trying to make their way through a pretty violent universe. Star Wars is a violent place. And,
well, I think that's why so many, and I haven't seen it myself. I'm gonna, I'm probably gonna finish out the mainline ones for this trilogy and then call it a day on Star Wars. But I think the reason a lot of people were upset with this is a lot like what you're talking about, in that the world is, or the universe is so big. Why are we doing prequels for characters that we don't need prequels on? Go do one of these stories. Like, Rogue One worked, but like, you don't need to just, live in these tiny little spaces between the movies. People want them to go out and do like the EU shit that they've decided isn't canon.
yeah,
So
that they
I
just
think that's
totally
part of
tossed
the.
aside.
I think that's part of the hand wringing that you're talking about.
You definitely pick up. I was never a huge EU fan, but I know lots of people were, and you definitely get hints of that in a lot of the new stuff. Maybe not enough.
I've heard there was a really unnecessary, I guess, cameo? Is that the right word? Like surprise character at the end?
Well, it's unnecessary, I suppose, unless you have to realize that those cartoons they came out with are canon.
Right, but most people didn't watch those, so I would have been like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So yeah, there's a cameo by someone who was presumably well dead. And
I get it. Well, ha!
Oh, hey, look at that. It's so natural to me. It happens and I don't even know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. It was good. I thought it was good. That's such a great, wonderful insight. The Woody Harrelson was awesome. Donald Glover killed it. He kills everything.
Woody Harrelson has slowly sort of creeped into a lot of iconic series, like without you really even realizing it. It's like, oh shit, he's been in everything.
Yeah, he's enjoying a little bit of a renaissance in his career, which is good. I've always liked Woody Harrelson, even though
he's great.
He does sort of kind of play the same dude a lot, but that's okay. Yeah, Donald Glover killed it. I thought he was awesome as Lando. What's the girl's name? Daenerys. Is that
Emilia
actress?
Clarke?
Yeah, she can't act.
So I've caught up on Game of Thrones, and so it's 7-8 months out. I feel okay spoiling this. Cersei is the same actress who played Sarah Connor on Sarah Connor Chronicles, and then Emilia Clarke played her in the most recent Terminator. So they have a scene where Sarah Connor's talking to Sarah Connor in Game of Thrones, which is pretty fucking rad. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, she just doesn't have a whole lot of range. They had a
she
new
was
guy
real
in the
bad in
Chewbacca
that
suit.
Terminator movie too.
She found one. I guess she found one role where she is just like perfectly suited.
Because she's mostly not speaking English.
Yeah. And because when they first started it, she was willing to take her clothes off, and she was attractive. So they were like, okay, you're the mother of dragons.
They switched actresses after the first season.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No?
Yep, Daenerys changed.
It's been Emilia Clarke the whole time, buddy.
I am 90% sure you guys are wrong. But we guys continue and I'll verify.
Yeah, it's
I think we should place a wager.
Don't do it, John. You're gonna lose.
I don't bet, but I'm 90% sure she changed.
It's been Emilia Clarke the whole time. They might have introduced a body double for her naked shots, which I guess she doesn't even really do anymore.
Well, okay, I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because the first thing they do is have her stand up in a bath. Clearly they cast this woman for, two reasons. She turned out to be great, but yeah, she's not a great actress. So the other complaint I've heard is that they try and wedge in too many winks. Like, oh, we have to do the Kessel Run. Like that kind of stuff. Like, oh, maybe you should shoot him first.
I don't know about shooting first. I mean, they definitely reference the Kessel Run, but whatever, that's fine. I just don't know what a lot of people are complaining about. But
Star Wars fans just seem like they're mad in general right now.
Star Wars fans are impossible to please.
I feel like Star Wars is kind of obviously their box office profits are not imploding, but well, I guess Solo hasn't done that well business-wise, but I'm sure it made its money back. But I mean, I don't know. That whole thing seems to be imploding. Like I'm kind of glad I'm not some diehard Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Solo, it sounds like it might be a fun, okay movie, and maybe I'll actually like it just because I'm not expecting a lot from it. But
here's what I'll say: I will watch Solo 10 times before I will watch The Last Jedi again.
Wow.
It's that much better.
See, I haven't seen The Last Jedi yet either, but that's coming to
Well,
Netflix later this month, so I'll watch it then.
I thought it was
fairly
supposed to be
hot track.
like the 29th, and then I thought I saw something that it was out now.
Is it?
That's what I
I
thought.
don't know.
So when I may go back to that because I'm gonna be dumping Hulu because I'm done with season Preacher 2. Nope, Preacher season 2. Season Preacher. I am the season Preacher.
So I
Be
haven't
very
finished.
quiet. I'm hunting preachers.
I have not finished the movie, but something you may want to give a chance to that is on Hulu is I, Tonya, by the way.
I heard I,
that's-
Tonya was really, really good.
That's an HBO thing.
That got
No, that's on
Isn't it?
Hulu.
Okay. Well, I have the. So I forget if I brought it up last time, but I signed up for Hulu because they were doing a thing where if you get their regular thing for $13, you can get HBO as an add-on. They call it for $5, and then you can just watch all the HBO stuff on HBO Now. So I thought $18 for, because it's 15 by itself. So for another $3, you get Hulu. And since the package I bought has commercials, and boy does it have fucking commercials.
Yeah.
I'm done with it, and I think I'm just gonna, if I need to see HBO, I'll pay him $15 for a month of it.
It
because,
seems like there's more ad time
And
in
they
Hulu
trick
shows
you.
than on television.
They try and trick you into watching them again. So like so there'd be like, I think Preacher is a hour-long show, so 44 minutes. So like I had to go back and see one of the last, I wanted to see something, or there's a thing on a plane that I wanted to read again, but it was in the last scene, so I backed it up. I was like 2 seconds into the new, you're back from commercial, and it made me watch an entire 2 minutes of commercials that I just watched, just because I wanted to back up and see the thing that ostensibly played 5 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that stuff sucks.
Just pay the extra $4 and get the commercialless version. Come on.
I won't have to because I'm gonna finish watching what I'm gonna watch on there and call it a fucking day. But anyway, Season Preacher is it's still a very good show. I'm liking it a lot. The hook for the second season is that nobody knows where God is, so he's going out to try and find him. Which in and of itself is a pretty cool concept, and they do some cool stuff with it. It's easy to forget the action sequences in that show. Do you remember last time I was talking about the hotel room scene where it just starts filling up with angel bodies?
Oh, yeah.
They do this sort of almost Kill Bill Tarantino, like an iconic song comes on very loud in the soundtrack, and you know that shit is going to go down. And they did that in, I want to say, episode 4 of this one. And the song was Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. And he is just fucking this dude up. It's awesome. And so he basically, the concept is that this guy is torturing somebody, and Preacher comes in the room and is ready to beat the fuck out of him. But the sound is... oh god, there's a film term for it when the sound is coming from the scene, and in this case, the guy had just put headphones on and had hit on his iPhone or whatever to start the Billy Joel song, and so you almost can't hear anything but the song, like it's almost muted, and you're just watching these guys fucking wreck shop around this torture room. So like you almost don't hear any of the soundtrack to like the table getting knocked over and him getting stabbed in the neck. And like him bashing his face against tile. It's just Billy Joel. And I think they've done it a couple of times, and it's a great gimmick. And I don't even care that it's gimmicky because it doesn't feel like it because the show's just got such good style.
That makes me think of the end. Well, I guess not the end, but it's towards the end of Shaun of the Dead, where they're beating up zombies to Queen.
Okay, yeah. This is a little bit more. Well, I guess we'll call it Wickian. Because this shit,
I'm sure it's more
violent.
extreme. I'm sure it's not explicitly played for laughs, like Shaun of the Dead was.
Preacher's a real fun show. Like I didn't like season 2 as much as season 1, but I still thought it was real good. Like it has some ups and downs, and like its downs are a little bit more boring than the first seasons, I think. But like I don't know, man. Like it was making me laugh and question myself so many times. Like you will not have like the most mixed feelings I had was a character who was in hell in the second season, kind of makes an unlikely ally in well fuck it, yeah, makes an unlikely ally in Hitler.
I have a real problem with this show redeeming Hitler, quote unquote. 4 years ago, because they sort of turn him into a pussy, like that. The only reason that he started World War II is because this woman dumped him, and so it was kind of women's fault. Women sort of started World War II if you think about it. Maybe it really was the Jews who kind of brought it on themselves, and it's like that. They come at it tongue-in-cheek, and it would have seemed goofy as shit, except now we have actual Nazi marches, and it doesn't seem as cute or funny as it would have. I mean, he ends up still being a bad guy.
He doesn't... he is not innocent by any means in that movie. He's just a goofy putz, which I think is even more, like...
The lovable Hitler is not something I'm ready for.
Think of all those fucking... idiots out there marching and didn't think of this doofus Hitler,
trying to take the piss out of him.
What are you sieg-heiling, really? I mean, this is this is Mel Brooks' Springtime for Hitler.
And that's the joke. It just would have been funnier if we didn't have literal Nazi marches. But I super dug it. There's some pretty heavy character changes stuff, like people die. Like there's implications from this season. The thing I'm probably happiest about, and John, you probably thought this was some of the down stuff, but I've been listening to the Irish Vampire, and I kind of been picking up on it, and it started just getting into my head. Man, that accent is fucking awesome. I could listen to that dude read the fucking phone book.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's such a fun character. I remember him being my favorite character in the comics too. Not that I've read very far in the comic, and I'm pretty sure the next season looks like it's actually going to be the first story arc in the comic. I could be wrong.
That's one of the things I wondered about is how much they toned this down to even get it onto AMC, and they took some weird. They took some weird tacks as far as to what it seemed like they toned down.
Oh fuck!
So there's what?
Well, you said they toned down, and I thought, well, they haven't shown a guy fucking a chicken yet, and then I realized there's a chicken, and there's a farm.
There sure is. Yeah.
Someone's gonna fuck that chicken next season. Mark my goddamn words. There's gonna be some chicken fucking going around.
Oh man, but you know what? It's gonna be earned because they planted that chicken in the previous season.
Yeah, they planted the chicken, and then someone will plant their seed in the chicken.
God.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
But anyway, it's weird to see what they tone down because you have stuff like that, and then you have a whole bunch of suicide. Which, by the way, they're doing a third season of 13 Reasons Why. So there's this drone that at one point the bad guys are sending after. Preacher and his cohorts, and they keep calling it Brad. Well, the acronym, once they show the side of this drone, is Battle Ready Remote Operated Aerial Drone, which would be BROAD, which is a funnier acronym than Brad. And I don't know if they were trying to tone it down because they thought that was offensive, or if they really wanted to try and trick you into thinking there was some guy named Brad.
The way they portray... God, I don't want to spoil this whole thing.
Well, I mean, you already blew the best piece of the show about the chicken fucking.
It hasn't happened.
It's not like we can go.
It hasn't happened yet. Let's just say, when he meets the person the organization is guarding, I can't see how they could possibly get more offensive to the public than that.
That was pretty fucking crazy.
Speculative.
No, this is the thing. It's probably worse than fucking chickens. In
Like,
fact, I
yeah.
guarantee it's worse than fucking chickens.
Like, if this were a really popular show, like, Christians would be protesting it in the streets. Like, that is...
And not even the person that's being guarded, but the beginning of that episode when you meet his great grandpappy, and like that scene's too much in and of itself.
I forgot about that. Oh, that's a great... Okay, yet there's a lot to love in season 2. You know what? The highs outweigh the lows by far. Like,
I'm
just
gonna
talking about it
John's,
is
John's come around.
reminding
spoil that
me how
one
much I
scene.
liked it.
But not the joke that feeds from it. Starting in the start of that episode is basically Jesus fucking somebody, or Jesus fucking a woman, and then she mentions that her husband is out of town. So, like, not only is Jesus fucking, he's fucking a married woman behind their husband's back. And it's like, oh yeah, and he did it the night he was, caught by the Romans. Like, it's just like it was his bachelor party for a crucifixion. Like, this show does some real fucked up stuff, and that's not even the worst of it.
Yeah, they would love that. There were people years and years ago. You guys remember a band called Incubus, right? Anyway, they played Stillwater years ago, like 2002, and there were protesters, Christian protesters.
Because it's a demon?
Because, an incubus is a type of demon or whatever. So they were out there. So I can only imagine what they would do if they saw this.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just so much sort of radar static for people to be up in arms about these days that like it's kind of. I guess I'll stick with the I can't remember the word, the analogy that it sort of just flies under the radar, and they get away with stuff because people have real shit to worry about.
Yeah, that could be.
So speaking of stuff that isn't real shit for people to worry about, I've been playing a bunch of MMOs because I feel like I'm missing that piece in my life. Like
I know I could get into a new MMO.
I thought it was going to be for what's the Dirty Money Virus New York one?
Oh,
The Division.
The Division, yeah.
I thought it might be The Division when they had that free weekend, but it didn't hook me.
Yeah.
And then I realized I had never started a trial for Final Fantasy XIV. I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this out. I've just, I've been playing the Final Fantasy games. I'm sort of into that. If I can deal with the Japanese super crazy anime, maybe I can deal with this. And I started on a Saturday afternoon, and I got probably 90 minutes in, and I hadn't fought anything yet. And I was like, okay, well, this is not what I'm looking for. I mean, it's literally run across the town and talk to this person, run across the town and talk to this person. Okay. And then I finally got out into the field and just started killing stuff, and that is not for me. I don't get it. It looks very pretty. It's a very pretty MMO, but as far as actual substance, there's not much of anything.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's anything coming out. I guess maybe potentially Vault 76, but
I will beat the shit out of you if that's an MMO.
Well, what makes something MMO? Maybe it won't be RPG, but it might be MMO. Yeah, I don't know. I think WoW still dominates that space, doesn't it?
Well, it's got a lot more fragmentation. I mean, I think as far as single game subscribers, and you also have to consider that's kind of really one of the only paid ones still out there.
I will tell you this: if they do eventually launch, they were talking about it, and I don't know if it's gone anywhere, but Blizzard was talking about launching a vanilla server or two or however many, and if they do that, they might hook me again.
Yeah, you say that. I think people have rose-colored glasses on that.
Yeah,
a lot
it could
more
be
than
that I
they
go
think
back
they
and
do.
It seems totally unplayable.
Hey, you remember meeting stones?
Yeah.
You remember not having meeting stones even?
No, I always had. I could always summon shit because I was a warlock.
Oh, okay.
So that was never a problem.
What about
But I do remember the meeting
flights?
stones.
Do you remember 22 and 24-minute hippogriff flights?
Yeah, from like top
Yeah.
to bottom.
Uh-huh. Yeah, those all sucked.
I
So-
do remember that.
Yeah,
That was a chance to go drop one off and grab a new Mountain Dew. out of your
Uh-huh.
fridge. At the time, I had to go all the way down from the 7th floor of my dorm into the little convenience store and get one, so I needed those 10, 20-minute breaks.
Right. So
Anyway.
I went back to another one, the first one that I jumped ship to after I sort of was done with WoW, and that was Lord of the Rings Online, which is still around.
Yeah.
It's
Couple
based
buddies
on the
have
books. There's none of the movie stuff in there, but I had remembered them having really cool sort of. They had, I forget what Blizzard decided to call it, but where multiple people can. It's kind of like instancing in a sense.
Did
So
Blizzard? Did they put out Lord of the Rings Online?
No, it's a Turbine game.
Oh.
The same people who did Dungeons and Dragons Online, which is not to be confused with Neverwinter, which is also still somehow online and playable, which is fucking crazy. That thing's got to be 16 years old.
Oh yeah.
So I played Lotro, and I remembered them having really cool instancing stuff to where, like, you'll be in Bree, which is the main town in the beginning zone of the game, and, like, if you don't have all your quests finished, it won't have certain people, the town will be in a different state, whatever, but other players can be occupying that same space on the server, they just don't know you're there, that kind of stuff. It's like you don't see them and they don't see you, and then once you get into the shit happened and the thing is now this way, you don't see the players who haven't gotten to your point in the quest either. So they did a lot of cool stuff like that, and really cool story elements that weren't like, hey, you're one of the Fellowship, but you're following the Fellowship as, like, they go to Rivendell and you go to Weathertop, and, like, it's not like, oh, you just missed them. Like you do.
They went that away.
Right, where it's just 70 levels of signposts. You do have interactions with important characters that don't feel wedged in, and it's not like, and then they met Dude Fella 69 on their way to Rivendell or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not ham-fisted, but it's still important. Like, you'll run into Strider before and after he's with the hobbits in Bree, and he's like, hey, look, I got to go do this shit that I'm going to do in the movie, but here's some important shit that I can't get to. Like, can you do this? And it's not...
I need you to kill 50 of these.
I mean, in a sense, but
Typical
like, maybe...
MMO stuff.
But it might be, I need you to kill Celebrain, which are those fucking birds that Sauron was using to spy on him. Like, look...
Crabine, something like that.
Carabin? Something.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be looking for us. We need you to go kill that shit, because this is important to the overall... Like, somebody had to go kill these fucking birds. And it's written in a way that feels good. Unfortunately, free-to-play has killed that game so bad. You can't have a mount without paying real money. You can't do any auction stuff selling without paying real money, which is very important, because crafting... Basically, like in WoW, you would take mining and engineering, or you take, herbalism and alchemy, because you can go pick the plants and then you put them in bottles.
Yeah.
Here, you have to pick from, like, job sets, and none of the job sets is self-sufficient. So, like...
Oh, you have to cooperate or buy it.
Right. Which is fine. So, like, if you wanted to pick, I thought, I'm going to be a free-to-play guy. I'm not going to dump a bunch of money in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the gathering professions. I'll sell the shit on the auction house, and then the one thing that I can make stuff with, I'll just buy all my stuff there, because that's how it's supposed to work. And you can't sell anything on the auction house, so all these crafting ingredients I have to vendor. Yeah. And it's just stuff like that. It fights you every step of the way. I can live with inventory being limited. They have to do something, but it's just every step of the way. When you take crafting out of an MMO, that's sort of a big deal, even though that's not my favorite piece. So that wasn't going to do it. And then I saw the Humble Bundle for June was like, it was pretty good. I ended up buying a 3-month subscription for, I want to say, like $42 or something, which is not... I don't intend to, like, keep renewing it, but for 3 months of what basically amounts to, 10 games a month, that's not bad. And June's is Destiny 2. So I have been playing the shit out of that.
I have not played Destiny 2 in a long time.
You're on PS4 for that, right?
Yep.
Okay. It's real pretty. Like, I played through it. I got it on Redbox when it first came out. And it's still real pretty, and it's prettier on the computer. And I'm really liking it. It's a great sort of, put on, say, Preacher in the other window and play this.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing a lot of the. Well, I haven't done any of the raid stuff because I'm terrified to do that. I haven't really been doing a bunch of what do they call them? Strikes.
Yeah.
I did a handful, and they're still super fun, and I like them. But I've mostly been just trying to level up because I did buy the Warmind expansion as well. So my level cap's 30, and I kind of wanted to get to that as quick as I could, and now I'm doing kind of some fun endgame stuff, especially now that they have the sort of pick your faction thing going this week.
I bought the first expansion, the Osiris one, but I haven't bought any of the others. It's disappointing too because I played the shit out of the first Destiny. John, I don't think
really
ever
liking
even got it.
Yeah, no, I haven't picked it up.
Yeah, no point now.
I don't. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be. I mean, I know everyone's hating on it, but like,
It could be that they improve it dramatically with an expansion later on,
Like-
and I might pick
Well,
it back
they
up.
intend to, and they intend to charge out the ass for it. Did you see this Forsaken thing?
I don't think so.
They're basically doing an entire extra year of DLC. Where if this was a real MMO, I mean, because effectively this is a Halo MMO, which people would have lost their shit over 8 or 9 years ago, and now we just kind of go, because the shooting is all still Halo and it's all still fucking awesome. What they're doing is they're releasing another DLC pack later this year, next year, for $40, and then that's going to have DLC on it as a season pass for another $30.
Jeez.
So they're basically asking you to buy a whole nother game and then some.
And then some, yeah.
Which I don't know that I'm super into, and maybe I'll be done with this by the time that comes out, but it's really doing it for me right now. You know, the
cool.
worlds, I would like there to be more zones than there are.
Yeah.
And because even with the expansions, they add Mercury and Trial of Osiris, which is basically like 200 square feet.
Yeah, if you don't count the that maze. What do they call that? The Black Garden? No,
Mhm.
that was in the first
No.
one. What do they call that? Well, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You go
Right.
in there and it changes constantly.
You got on the super long hallway that's just a loading screen.
Yeah.
The new planet, which I think is Mars. Yeah, Mars. Mars is the Warmind's on Mars.
Oh, they brought Mars back?
Oh, that's where the Warmind lives. So, but it's good. It's a fun zone. I'm liking it. I liked the story for the Warmind a little bit. The characters they introduced you to are cooler than the concept of Warmind, but I would like to see someone complete that raid. I don't want to spend 3.5 hours trying to do it myself. But I'm super into that right now.
I had a good time in the little bit of Destiny raiding I did.
So speaking of wizards coming from the moon, what do you got for us, John?
I don't think there are any wizards in the moon on this one. Is there? Maybe it
Well,
was.
they're there.
I don't actually
It's
remember
just-
the story to this game, but I
It's
have
just too far in the past. We haven't found them yet.
Oh my gosh! Evidently, I just didn't absorb any of the setup for this game. But I believe the setup. I've been playing Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon. The setup for a game is you're a dude who hates demons. I think it tells you his name is Zangetsu. I don't remember what it says. But this is like a prequel to the Bloodstained, whatever the next one's going to be called, that they kickstarted, that Iga, who did the Castlevania Symphony of the Night and a few of the Game Boy games, and I think Castlevania 3. So this game is basically Castlevania 3.
It sure looks like it.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, though. Like, it has a casual mode, which is what I played it on, and on casual mode you have infinite lives and no knockback. But even with casual mode, like, it seems like a lot of the bosses are kind of easy. It seems like the end boss of the game seems more annoying than anything. But
I feel like you are playing this on Switch. Is that right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's $10. It got a bunch of good reviews, and I watched the Giant Bomb thing where they played it a bit, and I'm like, that actually looks like something I might enjoy. And like, it's a lot of fun. Like, it takes about 2 hours to get through the first game. Like, if you do it perfectly, then it'd probably take 30 minutes or an hour. And then it opens up Nightmare difficulty, which is you go through the same levels, but it changes the story's different. It also has different endings depending on if you kill the companions they offer you or not. So like there's a lot of little gameplay.
Why would
unlock
anybody
stuff there.
kill the companions they offer you. From what I've seen, they are very, very important to making it through the game.
Yeah. It would be really hard without them.
So it's just like a hard mode type
Can
thing?
you kill them? Can you kill them accidentally?
Yeah, but like at any point in the time, you press the start button, and there's a Curse of the Moon menu option, and you click on that, and then you can rewind the story to certain parts.
Is that a
No.
casual
Is
thing,
that
or
is that
a...
a curse?
That's just in general. I've seen people...
I accidentally stabbed this vampire in the dick 40 times and then he died. I should probably rewind this so I can play as him.
Yeah. Rewind it to like the 19th stab, because I think they can take 20.
Well, 20 is the cutoff. Traditionally, 20 is the cutoff. I mean, that's
But
what...
you got to give
this was
yourself
like-
a little bit of room too, because maybe you're mid stab, so
Right.
you want to make sure you have a margin for error.
Well, you want to really feel that last one. So Bram Stoker would let him do 23, but I think Anne Rice was only 17, so they split the middle, and everyone just calls it 20. So
Yeah, I think you're
I'm
right.
sorry. Back to dick stabbing, John.
Right, minimum size to ride is 9 inches.
Oh,
No, the
picky.
the 4 characters you get are you get your main guy is Zangetsu, who has a sword, and then his side weapons are things like he gets this weird diagonal. I don't know what the hell it is. It might be a whip, it may not be. It is a chick who has a whip, who I'm assuming is the main character of that follow-up game.
She seems super awesome.
Yeah, she's actually my favorite character to play. Like, she jumps farther, she slides, and she has a weapon that hits farther. There's a priest who has the best heart weapons. Like, he literally has one weapon that you just activate, and it just is these heat-seeking balls of fire that kill whatever, which is how I beat the last boss.
Fire, my only weakness.
Yeah, balls in a priest's hands are a deadly weapon.
And then you also get a vampire type dude, and his bit is he turns into a bat and flies around. So
Vampire type.
yeah, but it's a cool game. It's a lot of fun. I don't know if there's a ton more to say about it, but they
The vampire's name is Eripmav. Because that's just what we do with vampires.
Coach Ferratu.
Coach. Oh, what is that from?
Rick and Morty.
That's right. I watched all those, by the way. Those are
It's
on
just
Hulu.
a throwaway gag at the very, very end.
oh
Yeah,
nice.
those are on Hulu that you can watch. I think they have 4 or 5 commercials per episode.
Did you enjoy them despite your backlash to all the Rick and Morty fandom?
It was a little weird because if you remember, Cartoon Network was doing a marathon of them, and I sort of walked in the middle of it, which sort of
yeah.
I think was the end of season 1, and then like the first 2/3 of season 2 is what I saw. So actually, I told Hulu to fuck off and went to Cartoon Network and streamed them individually there because they'd let you just do that.
Yeah.
And it's all 3 seasons. I think Hulu might only have 2, or maybe I'm thinking of Preacher, but it was good. It was good. I don't get the Pickle Rick thing. I don't get why people were so into that. And it was.
I think
It
just
was
because it's silly and
Yeah, but the episode was super bloody, and that was funny. But like,
It had a pretty depressing ending.
Yeah, the joke of him turning himself into a pickle so he didn't have to go to therapy
Yeah.
with the family was pretty funny. And like his journey back was neat, but like I don't get why people latched onto that so much. But
Yeah.
I mean it was good. I don't know that I'm gonna watch another 8 seasons of it, but yeah.
Well,
Man, if
they
they keep
all
bringing
come
it-
out tomorrow, and you have to watch them tomorrow if you're going to watch them at all. So.
Right, they're only out for 24 hours, and they're 23 and a half hours of cartoons.
Yeah. So.
I would do it.
Anyway, I don't have a lot more to say about Bloodstain, but it's a good game. I recommend it. I think if you're on the fence about it, just go watch a video. Like, sure, watch the Giant Bomb one. I know people have mixed feelings about Dan, but, it's fine. Mute it. Just watch him play for a minute.
Well, you don't even have to. Oh, you know what? It might be a premium thing. There's a Vinny Stania as opposed to
Oh,
Vinny
yeah.
Mania,
Bet
where he's
that's
playing
free.
through it, which is a premium. You got to be a premium member. But if you're into that, you can probably do a free trial. I don't know, and that might be a little more palatable for people who would prefer a Caravella.
Yeah, but it's it's $10. Casual mode's fine. You don't have to be great at games to do good at casual mode, and it still has it's a real basic story. You can tell it's kind of paying homage to the bad storytelling of old Nintendo games, which is entertaining in itself to a degree. But anyway.
So do we got time for basically one more of these things? Do we want to do releases or Golden Plus games? I'm leaning towards Golden Plus games.
Yeah, there's a lot of releases.
Are there? There's kind of not.
It looked like it.
Yeah, it's not really.
Okay, maybe it's just a lot of text then.
Yeah, it's more that.
If you would rather do gold games, that's fine with me.
Okay, so let's hit Gold and PS Plus. Gold, you have Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia. That's all month. Nobody cares about that, so at least they won't have any more to give us because they're done with the side-scrolling ones.
So putting it on the shelf.
Yes, putting it away. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. You can get it until next Friday. Get that shit. It is super good. It's a really good game. It's Mario Kart 8 before Mario Kart 8. With some really fun levels, and it takes all the Sega stuff that you kind of forgot about. Like, there's a Golden Axe track, for Christ's sake. There's was it Afterburner? There's an Afterburner track. There's some really cool Sega games that you probably forgot were things that you get to drive around in. So definitely pick that up. There's Lego Indiana Jones 2: The New Adventures for the second half of the month, which you already know if you want that. And then there's the bullshit, which is from June 16th to July 15th. As part of your gold subscription, you get the Smite Gold Bundle. You gentlemen know what this is?
Nope.
Smite is a free-to-play game, and this is basically a chunk of currency and items for the free-to-play game. As part of your gold for June.
Great.
Okay.
Does that not feel like bullshit? I feel like I had a much stronger reaction to this.
Well, I don't have an X-Bone, so I don't care.
I do, but I don't necessarily. I don't know. I feel like PlayStation's done shit like this before too, but they probably actually.
I'm sure.
I cut PlayStation a lot of slack for not doing this timed release shit that Xbox does, but Xbox really does have the better. You get to keep the game after the subscription.
Didn't they do exactly that for the first Destiny? Didn't they have like some really long timed? I mean, not quite Xbox Lara Croft Tomb Raider timed exclusive stuff, but they're guilty of that too.
Oh yeah, there was exclusive stuff on Destiny. I don't think there was any real levels or anything. I think there was some multiplayer levels and then like a gun or two.
It feels real shitty to be like, yeah, we know you signed up for this, so we give you games every month, but now here's a game with a whole bunch of mechanics that you probably don't like. Like, if you're already playing it, maybe you gave them some money, but otherwise we're trying to get you into this ecosystem, so here's some currency. It's like, it would be like the casino giving you $50 worth of chips when you walked in the door. You know, like if you're at the hotel or something, they give you a couple of chips to go down and play because they know you're going to drop $400. It just feels kind of shitty. I don't like it. PS Plus is a little bit better. You got XCOM 2 and Trials Fusion for PS4, which I really like Trials Fusion. I don't know that I like it as much as the previous one, but XCOM 2. Hey, XCOM 2. And then for the PS3, it's Ghost Recon Future Soldier and Zombie Driver, which those are electronic media for you to download. So there you go, gentlemen. I think that's going to wrap us up for the week.
Cool. Well.
And for the infinite.
No, we got one more.
Got one more what?
Oh, that's right. We have one more.
Oh, yeah. We're doing
for E3.
I forgot we already talked about that. Right. So this we'll do one more show, and then we're gonna call it quits for the summer, and indefinitely, but partially, and be back sometime this fall. But in the meantime, Randy, where can we find you?
Well, I haven't been on in a long time, but you can find me on PSN. Gifts of Men.
I finally sent you a friend request.
Oh, yeah.
And it sat there for weeks, and so I just deleted it. So fuck you. You had your chance, Randy.
I'm not kidding. I don't think I've logged onto that thing in 2.5 months.
Wow. Damn.
Yep.
And Jake, you're still scrubbed from the world, right?
Yeah. YouTube's channel's burned to the ground. I burned Twitter to the ground. I pared my Steam friends list down to basically you and Hannah. I'm just off of everything. So yeah, you can find me on the carousel for one more episode.
Okay.
Until
And also
whenever.
our Discord. So go pop in and join the Discord. And the Late Elf is always putting really entertaining shit posts in there that are wonderful. And
Yeah, it'll be kind of nice in a sense to be on break because I don't have to save myself for the marriage that is our show. I can just fuck all I want in the Discord.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
I can give hot takes as they come off the stove
Sounds great.
instead of keeping them for the show.
So, you can buy my music at MusiM.bandcamp.com. You can also get on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. You can visit the show's website at thecarouselpodcast.com. Rate and review and subscribe on the Apple Store. So we can, disappear soon.
How pissed would you be?
This is
if
going to
we
be the
got,
one
like,
that tips us.
40 or 45 ratings, and all of a sudden we're like, new and noteworthy, and then it's just like dead for 12 weeks, and like, nobody's listening, they all unsubscribed, like, fuck!
Yeah.
We
There's a lot of
could've-
content. They can go back and listen.
We could have shucked for Dollar Shave Club or something. Could have retired.
Oh, man, all I've ever wanted is to do a MeUndies commercial, let me tell you guys.
What's it called? Purple Mattress?
Jesus,
that
I want to shoot that fucking YouTube commercial. God damn, I am tired of that fucking idiot walking across and saying he's going to do a damn mattress test.
It is fucking June, but this has been happening for a month already. All these commercials that I'm complaining about on Hulu, like 80 to 90% of them are for the same fucking gubernatorial candidate
Oh.
for a guy that I was probably already going to vote for, and now it's fucking talking me out of it because I hate his stupid fucking face because he won't go
Yeah.
away.
I know,
Get out
man.
of my shows.
Eventually you start getting diminishing returns, right?
Well,
Surely somebody knows that number.
Man,
That's funny.
So what I'll do is I have it in the other screen, and I have ad block, which works on the video but not the sound for most of it. So I have to mute the computer. That's how I notice all these commercials because I'm like forever muting the computer and then unmuting the computer and then muting the oh, it sucks. I hate it.
Okay.
Well, all right. It sucks and he hates it.
Thank you for everyone joining us live and joining us on the archive feed and joining us on the audio stream. And looks like we only have one life left, but see you next turn.
Bye.
Bye.
Show titles.
Little thin this week.
Yeah, not a whole lot there. Hold on. I'll pop in there. Oop, that's not it.
Well, I usually milk John for them, and
Yeah.
he was a little light tonight as far as topics go. So
Well, he's been nice. Okay, off the top, we got Prepare to be Disappointed.
the John milk has run dry.
Prepare to be Disappointed. Spoiling all the movie's jokes. Little Baby Legs. Avengers Indefinite War. That's fucking stupid! The Lovable Hitler. And Speculative Chicken Buggery.
I feel like we got.
Just a bunch of winners tonight.
got-
I don't feel
three-
strongly about any of these.
I think we got.
Prepare to be
three-
Disappointed.
Oh, show title from Dimebag. Love Poo Poo Hitler.
I think he misheard when I said the lovable Hitler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Love Boo Hitler.
But who doesn't love a poo-poo Hitler?
Mm.
I got three that I got an eye on here: Avengers Indefinite War, the lovable Hitler, and Speculative Chicken Buggery. Just because the words are so much fancier than they need to be to talk about bestiality.
Speculative.
like
Potential.
if someone in the New Yorker was writing about this guy who got arrested for fucking an entire farm, like that's
Yeah.
the kind of words and vocabulary they
Or
would
no,
use.
it'd be like sun.co.uk is where you'd find that.
I feel like you guys sold me on the Speculative Chicken Buggery.
Well,
So be it.
if that sold you, let me tell you about these other fringe bonus. No, we're not really gonna go fuck chickens. All right, we got a winner.
Okay.
Alrighty.
There you go.
Sorry. Okay, thanks everyone for joining us live. We'll see you here in a week or two or whenever that is.
Yep.
Anytime.
All right, bye.
Bye.